Alrighty guys, welcome back indeed to some more Path of Exile. So this is part 11, this is going to be after the campaign, this is the end game content. So first off, one thing that is very important to mention is that you basically want to be grinding those maps. It was the thing that I showed off in part 10, if you guys don't remember it, just go back and watch towards the end of part 10. We're basically just doing these maps again and again. We're going to be getting these maps as a random drop, that's why I can't do like a full walkthrough with it, because these maps are a random drop, and depending on the map that you get, they may have different mechanics, they may have different ways to actually fight like the boss, but for the most part, most of them are very similar to things that we've already engaged in. It's just kill the things on the map, try to get to where it says like less than 50 monsters in the top right, and then that way you've basically cleared out the map. You're going to keep on doing these maps, and then eventually we're going to be talking about these watchstones later, but your whole goal is to try to do as many of the different maps as possible, which will give you basically better loot drop chances for increasing the chance of getting more maps and getting them to be higher tier. That's what you're going to be doing. So keep on doing these maps until you get to about 70 is where I would say is okay, or it's like 75 would be relatively safe too and relatively easy to hit, but I've actually, at this point, I'm recording this later down the line, but I will show you guys the gear that I was using when I did my third lab. So we're going to be doing a third lab, and there's another lab that you're going to be accessing through the map mechanic to get these things called the Offerings to the Goddess, which is an entrance fee. But I just wanted to mention, kind of open it up with mentioning that, like, yeah, you're going to just keep on doing these maps, and then eventually you're going to be doing the lab, and then we're going to be a lot more powerful. Then we'll do the final lab, and then we'll be a lot more powerful, and we're going to get a lot better gear. But anyways, let's go ahead and show off like the gear that I'm using for the third lab. Basically, we're still running the Hope Shredder. I got these pair of gloves. These are super cheap to get. You can get them for like 1 ALC or 1 C. It's just because it grants us Rampage, which lets us go through the map faster. It's not going to really help us too much against the boss, unless we continue the stacks. You'll see this little mechanic where it grants us extra stacks of Rampage, which increases a bunch of different stats, basically move speed and attack speed. It's really nice for maps, but for bosses, usually, unless you get to the boss and you melt them fast enough, it's not going to be too helpful. Still rocking this ring, still rocking the Cospreys, still rocking Starkonjas. We've got a new amulet that allocates the Whispers of Doom. This is the thing I was talking about before. Bought it for 2 Chaos Orbs. The only thing that was important that I looked for was life and Whispers of Doom. The rest of the stats don't matter because I don't have enough currency to buy a really good one. A really good one would have a lot more life, a lot more resistances, maybe even bonus like physical or cold damage is what we'd be looking for, but that's the enchantment that we went for. Buy the enchantment, don't try to craft it because it's super expensive. And then for our belt, we bought this belt. It was like 1 or 2 Chaos Orbs. It just has a bunch of life on it. It did have strength on it too, which is kind of nice for my gear requirements, but that was the only thing that we went for on the belt. But I wouldn't really worry about the belt too much, as they're really cheap. For like 1 to 2 Chaos Orbs, you can get something with just over 100 life. That's all I really looked for. The increased cold damage was nice too. It was a nice bonus, but just resistances and life on the boots. The other ring over here, I got this for like 1 or 2 Chaos as well. It just has life and some more resistances, and just happen to have a lot of intelligence, and that's another reason why I wanted to grab this one, because we needed the intelligence for the next thing. So we're still running the same pair of boots. However, we've got 3 blue sockets and 1 green socket. So this grants us an additional curse, this grants us an additional curse, so we can have 3 curses. So we're running Elemental Weakness still, and now we're actually adding Frostbite as well as Temporal Change. Temporal Change is kind of optional if you can get it to have like a 4-link. It's easy to get a green gem in here, so if you don't get 3 blues, like it's 2 blues and 1 green, you can still run Temporal Chains in here. But I really like having the Frostbite specifically. Now, before, remember how we were doing lightning damage and we were also doing cold damage. Now I've spec'd out, instead of our lightning arrow, I just removed it and we're just pure cold now. So I'm going back to Ice Shot. Remember how I leveled it up in my other bow here? I'm still leveling up Tornado Shot. I eventually want to swap into it, but I need a Hymn of Sorrow, and I'm going to get that eventually, and it's just a little bit faster to do it this way now. Eventually we're going to get a replacement on our helmet, and I can replace these boots, but the item is very expensive. So if you are still running like a Lionized Paws with just like the 2 blue, it's totally fine too. But if you can push it to have 2 blue and 1 green, you can try to roll it yourself, but I would recommend just buying it. It costed me 20 Chaos Orbs just to buy this off of someone, but as time goes on, they'll go cheaper. Another newer addition is the Doji's Elixir. This flask allows us to get ourselves 3 Frenzy, 3 Endurance, and 3 Power Charges, and that just will let us clear out content a lot faster. However, when we activate it, watch our HP, it starts going down real fast. It'll basically cut your HP in half. It's because my Chaos Resistance isn't good. So what you're trying to get is just get all your resistances pretty much at 75, but you can see like we're off like, you know, 1 on fire resist. It's not that big of a deal for like 5 off any of them. But as you progress, you want to make sure that they're all maxed out. And then our Chaos Resistance isn't really good right now, but we will get more Chaos Resistance later as we're going to start pathing up over here. And we're going to get one of these nodes over here that makes it so we can either get more Chaos Resistance and Elemental Resistance, but I really like the Corrupted Blood cannot be inflicted on you. You can also get a jewel that lets you have that, but let's just go ahead and hop in and we'll do the very final lab and we'll continue showing off some more mechanics. And basically, we've been just doing a bunch of the maps. I've been running some of the same maps, also been doing heists to get some more currency. That's like the best way to get your money up earlier on because it's just more consistent to get some stuff in heist. I didn't get anything super amazing, but yeah, we're just going to continue. So what the Temporal Chains does do is it slows down the enemies. And the reason why we're all specking for Cold now is because I really want, like, my damage is already good enough. Lightning just will help for more damage. Cold is more defensive. But right now, I'm A-okay on that side of the game. Like, I have the damage. But, like, Cold will make it so they just can't even move. Later, Cold will give us a lot more crit. Another contract, nice. Grab this. And I think we're gonna go this way. But you'll see the enemies will have a bunch of different curses on them to make them super slow. So we have the slow from our... Oh, you know what? We need the key. The key's going to be in the bottom left. This whole thing can be random too in terms of like the day, but I figured I'd go over my gear choices. And if you do want to copy my skill tree, I should actually show you this too. This might be kind of important. Here's what I'm going for right now. So I don't think we did anything here. What we did do is I finished out these nodes over here and just got extra penetration on the elemental. And then we're going to start working our way towards up here, and we're going to get... we can get this node if I want to grab that earlier on, but I also want to eventually get Ghost Dance, and then I'm going to grab some extra notables here, and then if we want to get Whispers of Doom, we can get it over there as well. But pretty much we're just looking for more life on the tree now. But if you feel like you're good, like a bunch of your gear has life, like a lot of my gear's missing life. Like right now we're level 75, and if we get like 4k life by like 80, that's okay. And then once we're at like 90, 95, we can maybe shoot for 5k life if I really push for it, but I actually prefer to have more damage, so 4.5k is kind of what I'm shooting for right now. But here's where the golden key will be. This is a very common layout, so the key will be right there, and then you go back to the middle where the golden door is. But when you search for a Doji's Elixir, this is a super cheap item. Make sure it's like near perfect, because there's so many that, like, it's a very, very common item. So many people have them, and no one really likes to buy them. I feel like this is one of the most underrated items in the game. It gives you 3 endurance charges, 3 frenzy, and 3 power charges. Sure, you don't get them forever. But Sniper's Mark makes it so you will gain a mana flash charge when you hit a cursed enemy. Right now I have to manually cast the Sniper's Mark if I want it to apply. But I don't have. I could get one more curse, and I'd be able to add it into my build if I wanted it. But be careful when you activate the flask. Chill for just a second here, and like I mentioned before, take your time with any of these little lab trials. Dying's no fun. There we go. Got a treasure key. Oh, looks like they're giving us grace too. There's another gem. I believe it got a buff as well. I don't know why that door's still locked. It's fine though, no biggie. let's keep on moving. Yeah, be very careful when you activate Doji's Elixir. Especially if you don't have a decent amount of chaos resistance. It can get quite nasty. Eventually we're gonna get a decent amount of chaos res. We'll be at like plus about 30, maybe 40. I mean, ideally you can max out all your resistances. Now we're on the first Aspirants Trial. So remember, he'll hit you pretty hard for physical damage. What the endurance charges do, they grant us physical damage reduction. The power charges is more crit, but our crit isn't necessarily like great right now anyways. Our crit strike chance is 11, but when we activate this, it will go up to 19. But you can see our HP went down a lot. So be very, very careful when you activate it against the boss. In fact, I probably would not recommend getting it and using it on the boss. But you can see he's like super cursed. You see how slow he's moving? We got the temporal chains on him, and he's just super slow. So we got the temporal change, the chill. That's why I love ice or cold in general. The ice shot just it makes it really beginner friendly, and it's like legitimately good. But later, instead of it being a defensive like where we're gonna freeze the enemy or chill them, instead what we will be getting is brittle, which makes it so they're easier to crit. And our crit chance, instead of it being 20, it will be 100%. It won't show in game that it's 100 though, but it actually becomes 100. The only way to really like show you guys this is we're gonna use an application called Path of Building later, and I'll show you guys it. Yeah, brittle is the most OP thing. I'm surprised it hasn't been nerfed, to be honest. Like, it's so incredibly good. So if you want to build up your flash charges, you can. It's not like a bad idea. In fact, I'm going to just do it because it's a massive amount of like bonus damage at the very start.
I'm not up to that just yet.
Okay, as long as we have this up, that's all I really wanted. And as long as I can pop one life flask too. So I'm going to pop the Doji's and a life flask pretty much at the same time, because Doji's just like almost deletes our character instantly right now. Later it won't do that much damage, but right now it does. So make sure you cast the Hydrosphere, and if you have room for the Tornado, I just don't happen to have room for it right now. We're eventually going to get it though, like we're going to get Tornado again. But look how slow the boss reacts now, like it is amazing. Throw that Hydrosphere once again because it doesn't last forever. And he's so slow, man. It's because he's got all these curses on him. So we're not even getting hit. And a lot of the maps, like, I'll go do a map real quick after this too to show you guys, like, we are just dominating right now in terms of like our clear speed. And I want to show you guys also Rampage a little bit better, like how Rampage works. If you played Diablo, it was like that season where we had a bunch of buffs at kill intervals. It's whoa, that was actually kind of dangerous. Oh, we got hit again. It's kind of scary. We don't have flash charges anymore. One thing that I do like to get on our tree, or our Pantheon tree thing, so there's one where it's life flask gain 3 charges every 3 seconds if we haven't used one. It's really good when you do this lab. Or you could throw on the gem vitality. It's another great thing to have. Let's see where we need to go. Okay, so we're here. Keep on going. So click on those little things that kind of indicates on where to go. And now we're coming up to the final part. It's about 10-15 minutes. I'll just use my movement flask on this, because I want all of my flash charges to be up so I can try to fight the boss and delete him as quickly as possible. We can get to the boss by not going on this one. It's just a different path. And it should be right here. And, oh, we got that corrupted blood inflicted on us. That thing will absolutely kill you, so be very careful when you see corrupted blood. This removes it when I pop my flask, so ideally that's what you get. You get a flask. Okay, so this one's going to be a lot more dangerous. You'll see that there's spikes here, and there's going to be like these little arrows that come out from the side, and they slow you down. That's the big thing that will get you killed over here. What the heck? There was some weird like thing that kind of showed up. But remember, at any point he can maybe one-shot you, so be careful. So the spikes come out. Ooh, we got him. I don't know if he still spawns in anymore, but sometimes I think they might have removed him. It was earlier on, like the series of the game, where they had this guy at the very end that would like do reflect damage. So you can kill the boss, and then you would see this other enemy, and you'd be like, oh, it's just a small mob. Try to kill him, and you kind of one-shot yourself. Do we have more keys? We only had 2. Okay. So now with this, we can get the Helmet Enchantment. So the Helmet Enchantment, we can get Elemental Hit, does 25% increased damage. Our boots are actually really good. We have extra suppressed spell damage if we've taken spell damage recently. That's actually pretty useful. I'm definitely going to get that on these pairs of boots. Like, it's super good. I like it. Awesome. And then, of course, touch the little altar of ascendancy. Woo! We got the quest complete. So now what do you want to get? You can get Gathering Winds if you want more move speed, attack speed. It tells you what it does, right? It's action speed. Well, it's basically anything. Cast speed, move speed. That's what that does. I'm going to go for a far shot because that lets it, like when you chain, your stuff's going to deal way more damage. So it's projectile attacks deal 20% less damage at the start. So since I'm a ranged character, there are 2 different ways to play bow. Like there's something called point blank, where your arrows will do more damage at the start, so you want to be point blank shooting. I like to be far away, kind of just with all these Mirage Archers going off. It's just really nice, especially with chain. They start hitting things like super far away off screen. This is where you get your off screen melt everything. And besides, you are playing a ranged character, so you normally want to stay far away. Another option you can get is going this path for Endless Munitions, which will give you 2 additional projectiles, which will significantly increase your damage too. It's kind of up to you and what you want. Honestly, the only important thing, like you can drop this if you want to with Orbs of Regret. The only thing that I think is like you have to get is chain is just way too good. I actually looked at the price of getting just a quiver with just chain. Doesn't really matter what it has on it. It's multiple exalts right now. It's so expensive because chain is so powerful. Eventually, when we get one of those quivers, we can drop this whole, like the whole reason why I like Deadeye is literally because of this one thing. But also, you can have a 30% chance when you shoot something to collide with terrain. That's when I'm shooting the walls and it's just killing the bosses. Like it's ridiculous. Like this ascendancy is the only reason why I play this. But we can get far shot, we can get endless munitions. This is going to be a little bit better for bossing right now until we get tornado shot. But again, this is the only one that's like really good. Basically, this is the only one that is like not good in this tree for us. But I'm just gonna get this for now. I can spec out of it later if I want to. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue. And so pretty much what you want to do from here on out is just keep on slamming those maps. That's the form of endgame content. I was doing a bunch of the heist, but I'll show a map real quick to show you guys how insane Rampage is. So I'm gonna recast my Stone Golem. I just use that because Hope Shredder is just, it's a massive amount of damage, but it has that downside. Let me go ahead and sell some of the things that we got because I just don't want to clog up my inventory. These are probably not worth anything anyways. Got an amulet, I guess, just in case. Oh, okay, it's Totem Life. I don't think Totem Life is worth anything, especially with accuracy. It's just going to be not useful. Okay. So if you want to get Rampage, there's a few items that you can get that will grant you it. There's Flesh and Spirit, which also give you up to 9% attack speed, so it's more offensive, but it has no like good defensive stats. These, on the other hand, grant us a decent amount of armor and evasion, and it's going to grant us ability to have Rampage when we're at maximum endurance charges. How we get those endurance charges is just activate Doji's Elixir. Again, Doji's and these are both super cheap, so this is like easy. I can recommend. Let's go do something. Let's see, Shocked Ground. Okay, Shocked Ground can be a little bit dangerous, but just don't step on it. But I should show you guys all these mechanics. Another thing is if you want to do like Einhar, which is like the guy that captures the beast, we'll maybe talk a little bit more about that later. But you can let's do this one because I didn't get to show you guys Unveiling, and it's kind of nice. But basically, you can select one of these. See how this is in the white? That means on a white map, I can get one of these NPCs to spawn in for like the objective. But we should be able to roll through this map really fast. But right now, it's all about just upgrading your character, get more life, more resistances. So what we gotta do is defeat the Immortal Syndicate. So see these patches of ground right here where they're blue? Do not step on those. It'll make you take more damage, even though like I'm doing right now. I'm trying to show you the little icon that pops in on the top left. Because yeah, you will absolutely melt yourself at times. Okay, now, okay, we're good. Okay. So we can interrogate or we can execute. If we execute them, which is usually how I play this, just so I can get... It's basically the one on the right. Sometimes it's not always execute. But what we can do is we go to June, so we can unveil the items. So if you get these items with looks kind of like alien text that's kind of moving, you put it in... You just talk to June. You can activate her in your hideout too, or just whenever you have one of these things, you can unveil the item. So if you unveil, you can select what you want. Do you want to have minions? Like, it's going to have that stat on the item. For me, I don't really care about really any of these. I'm just going to select whatever one that I want to actually unlock. So if I choose this one, it's going to unlock this at rank 3. Before you had to unveil multiples of them. So now we have this quiver, and we can select, do we want cold lightning damage, fire lightning damage, and it'll roll it on it. And this is for crafting. If we unlock it, it'll say, you know, we can now if we go into crafting, which I'll explain a little bit later, because it's pretty complex and it's pretty expensive, I would say, earlier on. But this one has some chaos resistance. If it just had life, this would actually be like maybe okay for someone, because there's 3+ damage. It's got extra global crit strike chance, but usually you want life, multiple resistances. Something like this would be like a little bit okay. I think I paid like 2-3 chaos for this, so it just added physical damage, but it's just multiple resistances. Ideally you get triple res, then you get life and elemental damage with attack skills, and then plus extra whatever bonus stats, just another plus. But right now we're still on like budget gear, we're still running cost breeze on a 5 link, and eventually we will get some much better stuff, but we didn't get anything good yet. But let me show you the Rampage Mechanic. So you'll see on the top left where it says how many kills we've gotten. Sometimes you'll have these guys come out and they'll try to kill you. That's part of the mechanic of the betrayal, the syndicate. So you kill them, and then again, the one on the right is where it'll drop the item. The other one will basically incubate them for like something better, but it'll take longer time depending on what the item or like the person that you're betraying, essentially. Let's see. Okay, reduce flash charges use. That's a nice little craft thing if I wanted it. Some of the stuff we may already have, and you don't need to unlock it more than once. But remember, pick up all 6 socketed items. There's Tane, he's for the Metamorph. You can try fighting it, but Metamorphs have heavy chaos damage, so it could be a little bit rippy. But it can be worth it. But you can see our damage is just really nice right now. Especially with all of the stacks of Rampage. We can go extra fast. You get extra move speed per stack. But you have to keep on killing. Basically how it works is it's kind of like a kill streak. Like 2-3 seconds. But again, don't step on those patches. I know I keep on stepping on them. But like right now, since I have temporal chains, the chill, the freeze, like it's just making them melt so fast. You want to try to keep your kill chain up on the boss. That'll make things much faster. That's right. I gotta remember. I kind of gotta try to shoot from farther away, and I just want to off-screen things. That's like the goal. Oh, what's this thing? Some enemies, by the way, like this guy, like they just don't activate until you're within a certain range. Oh, we didn't even do the league mechanic. Let's go activate that. See how we're doing with this. Yeah, the league mechanic is great. When my Rampage stack is about to drop, I can just pop it, and it's like, okay, we're back. That's awesome. Looks like we're gonna go back, though. Oh, we have another upgrade point. I don't have anything in my Crucible right now, though. And I don't know where the boss is. Sometimes, like, if I've already done this map, I don't, like, and you just can't find the boss, or you don't want to do the boss, because the bosses in these maps can be considered rippy. Okay, so I have no idea where the entrance is. I thought it would have been right there, because it showed, like, over there. Sometimes, like, some areas you could, like, kind of warp into, but I don't really feel like I need to do the map. It's just more so showing you guys how the Rampage mechanic works. But from here on out, what you want to do is get your maps done. So, again, you can go to Kyrek to purchase them. Hold Alt and you'll see if they're incomplete. So let me see if I have any that are incomplete, so it'll show in red. I guess I've already done all of these. But just keep on slamming down maps. What you're going to try to do is get more maps done. Basically, this map over here has a chance to get you this map or this map. And make sure you are completing the bonuses. See how, like, I have all the bonuses filled in for these? When you get more bonuses completed, you'll have a higher chance for the maps when they drop in the maps to get one tier higher. Now, another thing you might be wondering, what if I don't have maps or, like, I run out? Well, you can just farm the maps. You can go to any act, like, well, I'd recommend, like, you know, act 10, and go ahead and just kill stuff. A map will drop, but I would recommend just purchase them from Kyrek because it's just way more efficient than trying to farm the maps. Now, if you run out, you can also buy them from players. You can go to the trade website and just search up, like, the map that you want. So you could just type in, like, actually, I think if you just type in the keyword map, you'll probably just get a bunch. If I just type in map, you'll see, like, just literally the word MAP map, like this. You'll see a bunch, and then you can see, like, do I have museum completed? And if you don't even see it on your map, that means you probably don't have it completed. So you can purchase these, and they'll have a different tier. The higher the number, the more difficult they get. We'll talk more about watchstones when we do more, but from here on out, yeah, you're just trying to do maps, and if you want to do heists for a little bit better chance at getting gear, like we've gotten like several chaos from just doing maps, but like it's more consistent, I would say, to do heists in the very beginning. But try to get items with resistances and life. That's what you're really trying to do. As long as your damage is there, resistances, once you get 75 on everything except for chaos, don't worry about getting too much chaos resistance early on. This one we still had the metamorph, which again that hits for chaos damage, so then I would want more chaos resistance if I want to do metamorphs, but you kind of need chaos resistance at least at 0, so try to get it to 0 at least. Don't have it like negative. Like -4 is fine, but like ideally you want to have everything much better, and we'll get much better gear. It's just like this is what I happen to get. I didn't get anything good at all in terms of like an item that I could sell for you know, an exalt. But if you do get an exalt, like my whole character build is worth less than 1 exalt, and they're not even that rare to get. Well, they're rare, but like if you just get to maps, like within a couple hours you might be able to get 1 or 2 sometimes if you're lucky. But make sure you're picking up all of these, as these are going to be giving you jeweler's orbs. Basically every 3 of these that you sell to the vendor, you'll be able to get about 1 chaos orb, because they're going for about 20 jewelers to 1 chaos. But yeah, just keep on getting some stuff. Later we're going to talk more about how you're never going to have to activate any of your flasks again. They just automatically use themselves, and it's one of the nicest things. And then we don't even have to cast our hydrosphere anymore when we get a new helmet. But yeah, keep grinding the maps. That's like basically the end game content. But there is more content than just grinding the map. Like there are more new bosses, and there are new bosses that just came out this season that I have no idea how we even access, but I'm assuming that it has to do with going into the, like, you know, the nightmare realm, which we activate. But yeah, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this part of the session. So we ascended and basically just mentioned, yeah, do more maps, and you'll be eventually start getting higher tier maps, and it's going to get a little bit more difficult. But make sure when you see the map, when you are rolling them, just nothing with reflect elemental. You will destroy yourself and it'll feel bad. And then just keep on progressing. Depending on what you want to go for, if you want life, go for life. If you want more damage, you can type in bow or projectile. You feel free to experiment a little bit. Eventually we will be getting all the crit stuff is what we're going to get with basically the last about 15-ish points. Because about 90 is where you'll be okay. Like a lot of people will never hit 100. Like 95, even for me, is like that's pretty much where like your build should be solid. So next, another like 15 points, we're going to be investing heavily into crit towards the end. But right now I'm okay on it. I just want to get this like thing that lets me get brittle, which I've been talking about, and we'll get that eventually. But yeah, if you want more damage, feel free to go look up. You can go for projectile, because that will scale well, or anything that says like bow attack damage. but not damage over time. Do not get there's some up here, like the increased damage over time with bow skills. Yeah, we don't do any of that, so don't get that. But if you need more resistances, there's a few no's. Type in resist. Like, just feel free to, you know, be a big person and you know, get your own skill points. But if not, it's fine. Like, you can copy my next like section and you'll be a-okay. We'll spec out of some things. Like, we're gonna spec out of this whole thing right here, and we're gonna actually go 1, 2 and instead over here, and then we will save all these skill points because I don't really need all of this extra attack speed anymore. It's going to be less necessary than what I plan to go for, which is crit. But again, we're going to be respecking. We have a bunch of refund points. You can use Orb of Regrets if you mess up, which they look like. Do I have any? I guess I don't have. And you can convert 2 Scours, I think, for 1 regret. Oh, this is actually something really good for like any of your currency things. Like if you're like, I need like this to modify my item or something and you can't get it. Let me show you a cool little tip. So if you go to the Oriath, which is the last act, but make sure you select the epilogue. So this is like where you go, and you can go to Lonnie and you can purchase items. You see, you can get the Orb of Regret for 2 Scouring, or if you need, like, you know, I need things to change my colors, or, you know, whatever you need. Orbs of Chance, this is for, like, buying the maps. You can go to her. So, yeah, she's, like, kind of your go-to for that. But that's going to go and wrap up this part. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like and I'll see you guys in the next part, which we'll probably talk about Watchstones and, like, more advanced things in the next part. Thanks for watching. I'm out. Peace.